올해 코로나19 어떻게 될까요?
It's really a race between vaccinating everybody and mutations in the virus. Recently, a lot of mutations have been reported emerging. For example, and possibly the most dangerous one is the Omicron variant, which was recently introduced into Korea. Virus is mutating even at this moment. Wherever there are outbreaks, viral mutants are being generated. And it's just a big concern of ours that at some point one of these variants will be resistant to vaccine-induced immune responses.
백신이요?
아니 너무 방금 무서운 전망을 해주셨는데 도대체 그럼 우리는 어떻게 해야 되나요 앞으로?
The key factor here is speed, and there are two strategies. First, it's important to look at the environment where these mutant viruses are being generated. A mutation is produced wherever there are large-scale infections, wherever the virus is multiplying rapidly, such as South Africa, Brazil, the United States, and the UK. Therefore, more people need to be vaccinated. But in low-income countries, 95% of people have not received a single dose.
근데 어떤 나라는 백신이 너무 부족하고 어떤 나라는 또 남아돌고 그런 거 보면은 그래도 우리가 모두 살기 위해서는 백신을 좀 나눠줘야 되겠네요.
That's right. And a second strategy is to develop a universal vaccine against the coronavirus. The current vaccines were designed for the original COVID-19. And we're fortunate that the current vaccines still cover the mutant viruses circulating around the world. Develop a universal vaccine that will cover all of the COVID-19 variants.
그런데 지금 코로나19만 걱정할 게 아니라 이번에 X 이벤트 주제가 엔데믹이잖아요. 그러니까 코로나19가 종식된다 해도 다른 바이러스가 계속해서 창궐할 거라는 그런 예측인데 이에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하시나요?
Just before COVID-19 appeared, WHO shared a list of infectious diseases that could cause epidemics in the future. The last thing that came up on the list was a mysterious disease X, disease X, disease X. Disease X refers to an unknown epidemic that might become a pandemic. It's called Disease X because we don't really know what it is, but we need to be ready to fight it. Disease X may not be worse than COVID-19. It could be worse.
전문가들은 이미 코로나19라는 디지즈 X가 나타난 것을 예측은 하고 있었네요.
나도 본 것 같아. 이게 빌 게이츠가 나와서 앞으로 수백만이 죽을 만한 일은 전염병일 가능성이 크다고 예언을 했었는데
If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes.
그거 보면서 설마 그러려고 우리 의학이 얼마나 발전했는데 진짜 일어났어요.
맞아.
The bigger problem is that the attack of Disease X will threaten us more and more frequently. The battle between humans and viruses have been going on since humans evolved, and in the 21st century, the attack of new viruses was particularly frequent. SARS broke out in 2002, swine flu in 2009, MERS emerged in 2012, and Ebola in 2014. And in 2019, COVID-19 dominated the world. There have been at least 5 fatal infectious diseases in the last 20 years.
되게 빨라졌다.
못 살겠어.
And there must be a reason. Now, SARS-1, MERS, Ebola, and COVID-19 have something in common. What do you think it is?
지구온난화요.
분명 환경 문제도 있을 것 같아요.
있을 것 같아요.
뭐죠?
사람 너무 많기 때문에.
알려주세요.
네, 알려주세요.
They're zoonoses. SARS-1 was transferred from bats to civet cats.
박쥐.
MERS was transferred from bats to
또
camels.
박쥐네.
The animal that transferred SARS-CoV-2 virus from bats to humans is unknown, but it might be a pangolin or a snake. In fact, 60 to 70% of new infectious diseases are zoonoses from wild animals. These new viruses could make you very sick because humans don't have natural immunity against them.
사실 근데 이제 우리는 이런 도시에서 살기 때문에 야생동물과 만나는 접점이 많아졌다는 게 좀 실감이 안 되는데 구체적으로 어떤 예가 있을까요?
But there is a story about a suburb of Brisbane called Hendra on the eastern coast of Australia. One day, an acute respiratory disease occurred in horses and people. 13 horses and a man died in just that year. People started calling it the Hendra virus, naming it after the area where the disease first occurred. Where did the virus come from? Australia, like many countries, has turned large forests into parts of towns or cities. The place that used to be home to plenty of wild animals became a city where people live or other people farm. Fruit bats that lost their habitats started to visit the town. Soon they fed themselves with fruit trees around the
식지를
town.
뺏어버리니까.
And the batch droppings and pieces of fruit began to fall under trees. Horses acquired the virus and passed it to humans.
결국은 인간 때문에 이 일이 다 시작된 거예요.
There are over 200 different viruses that can infect humans. This increases every year.
더 늘겠죠. 더
However,
늘것 같아요.
experts estimate that mammals may harbor more than 300,000 different viruses.
와, 30만 가지?
그 중에서 200개밖에 발견이 안 됐어.
We need to keep it in mind that as contact with humans increases, there will be more and more opportunities for these new viruses to spread in human populations.